Okay, welcome to Epic Sketch Time. Epic Sketch Time is a weekly drawing group. We meet right now Mondays at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. If you'd like to join us, go to Facebook and look up our Facebook page, which is Epic Sketch Time. And then you'll find in the information page, you'll find a sign up link. Also, if you're looking in this video, maybe I remember to put the link down in the doobly-doo. You can go down there and click on that and to subscribe to our email list. I'll send out reminders every week with the link, or contact me directly at Mark Monlux at Comcast.net, and I will manually add you onto our mailing list. But I prefer it if you signed up by yourself. With me today is KDC and Bill Morse, and what I'm going to do is, after I'm done introducing myself, I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell them where they're from and also what the project that they're working on today. Today, I'm going to be working on the back of a playing card that I'm designing for my next set of playing cards, which will be obscure movie aliens. And I live in Tacoma, Washington. And Katie, your turn.
Hi, I'm Katie C, and I am an artist out of Bonnie Lake, Washington. You can find me on Instagram at Evil Girlfriend Media. I also paint digital tarot cards at Ambivalent Tarot on Instagram. And today I am working on a Scream Scooby-Doo mashup. And I'm going to try to finish Matthew Lillard as Shaggy's face. We'll see how it goes.
Hi, I'm Bill Morse. I'm a cartoonist and illustrator living in Seattle, Washington, and today I'm working on a postcard.
What's the postcard for, Bill?
Self-promotion.
So Katie and I were talking about one of our favorite artists, a guy named Eli Wolf. That's spelled ELIWOLFF. And we both know him from conventions. And he's going to be joining us at Crypticon next month. And I love his artwork. It's just, you guys should check him out on Facebook, look at his stuff. He's just hilarious. Okay, now yes, everyone, we were all chatty before this started. And as soon as I start recording, everyone went quiet as church mice.
I think we've got to get into our projects. I know before you started recording, we were talking about Eli Wolf, who, yeah, he's super fun. And we were talking about doing stuff for yourself instead of always worrying about the audience, which I try to do. But it does get, you don't want a bunch of art sitting around your house, but at the same time, you don't want to paint a bunch of things that, aren't going to leave your possession. Because I think that's one of the
it is a major
important things.
danger. I know several artists who have tons of canvases around their house. One of my friends, he loves to paint self-portraits. And the thing is, and they have different themes, but the problem is they're all self-portraits. And I'm kind of telling him, dude, I know who you are, but I don't particularly want a self-portrait of you. And here you are, you're starting yet another self-portrait. Paint your dog instead. Your dog will sell. You got more than enough self-portraits underneath your belt. But he
Well,
loves to draw paint. He loves to paint himself.
I, I actually, there's an artist that I've seen her stuff on Instagram and I follow her. And she has painted a lot of wildlife and she's painted, talking about self-portraits. It's the reason why I'm talking about this. She's done a lot of possums and stuff. And she's done a lot of like skulls and flowers and, suns and moons. And she just recently started sharing that she had breast cancer with people. And she's just been having a really hard time. She just finished like her chemotherapy and everything, but now she has to do radiation but she doesn't really, she's not it's like some people can't handle hearing that stuff. It doesn't bother me, but she recently started doing some work that shares her expressions about how she feels having cancer and the experiences she's had to deal with her medical diagnoses. And I'm going to tell you, her Etsy shop has just blown up because people like her new work where she's not doing like commercial stuff. She's doing stuff that's, expressive of her. And like, it's just so beautiful that I actually am buying a piece off of her because even though it's kind of like self-portraiture and it's about her feelings, it's just so much more beautiful and authentic than her other stuff, because her other stuff look like, things that, a lot of other people are trying to put on Etsy to sell. And then now her work is, it's just so unique and it's her perspective. So it's interesting how one person has a lot of canvases at home of themselves and then someone else is actually blooming by showing, how they're feeling inside and who they are. So I guess it just depends on what the art looks like, but her stuff it looks great. And I don't personally, and I was like, should I make a self-portrait? And then I was like, nah, I'm good. I like cartoons and kind of like you were saying, puppies. That's good enough for me. That works.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking a picture of one of my drawings, and I'm using I'm holding my camera in my light like this. Whoops. Apparently I just took 2 billion pictures. I just want to figure I'll just post this picture of this gooey duck on my Instagram. There we go. I'll show you guys this picture. Here's my picture of my gooey duck. I used to carry these around all the time in my pocket. And whenever I sat at a restaurant or was waiting someplace, I'd pull it out and I would do doodles and drawings inside of them and take notes. And if I had an idea for a cartoon gag, I would draw it, even if it was a bad idea. Oh, and at one time I had a dog that was a Great Dane, and my friend drew a picture of me in my notebook of me looking like my Great Dane. I thought that was hilarious. I suggest walking around with a little sketchbook in your pocket at all times and something to draw with. Always a good idea, because if you're on your phone, the next thing you're doing, you're looking at social media. I don't draw on my phone like I thought I would be drawing on my phone. I thought I'd be using, notes or whatever and be doodling on here all the time. I never draw on my phone. I'm always, lured over to the dark side of, either clickbait or a game or something.
I wish I wasn't a clickbait sucker, but the next thing I know, I'm learning 15 facts about something I really don't need to know about at all. I'm getting smarter about it though. I'm like, don't do it. Don't click on it. You're going to go down a rabbit hole. And the next thing you're going to read 15 useless articles that have nothing to do with anything that's productive in your life.
I'm trying to remember how to go into my photos and, oh, there we go, duplicate. I made a mistake a long time ago. I didn't know how to use my phone, and I went in and I cropped a photo, and it was a photo of my cat. And I just wanted to, it was a great picture of my cat, but I wanted to do a crop of its head. But when you crop inside your phone, it doesn't keep the original. It just deletes what your crop is. And I went, oh no. So I've always, whenever I want to go in and mess on my phone now, I always duplicate the photo, then do a crop on the second one or whatever. But yeah.
So we had some happy creative news in our house this week.
Oh, do tell.
It's not, art related, but Tim released a new book. So I was really happy about that.
Oh, I thought that book was coming out tomorrow. Is that today?
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to come out on Tuesday, and today's Tuesday.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
I think it's a case of the long weekend messing with our heads.
I know. Well, yeah. I feel you. Yeah, I think it was today, but it's up. And it's a book that was actually supposed to be out in 2019, but once again, he had a life-altering medical event and it didn't get to come out. And so now it's out. So it's a super I feel like it's a triumph because man, medical stuff can set you back a long time. I think that's one of the things if I think even Tim would give that advice as an independent creator, you have to account for your health and when things go awry with it and how that's going to affect your business.
I'm pretty sure, is this a World War II book? I know it's got a soldier on the cover. Is it zombie related or what's the?
No, this is actually a series. So he's ready to be done with the series, but he wrote a Civil War, kind of like a post-apocalyptic Civil War series, and it actually was inspired by events that were going on in our nation during 2016 election and just the fear that people had with everything that was going on with how leaders were acting and just people's fear that the country was gonna fall. And so he kind of just wrote out those fears in a series about this. He's a IT guy, but he's a vet, and he's just trying to be this normal guy living his life. And the next thing he knows, like all heck breaks loose, and the country is not under martial law, and the whole United States is basically crumbling around him. People seem to really like it. It's one of his best-selling series. He's just not. He wanted to. It was always intended to be a 3-book series, and So he's putting her to bed, but he did a spectacular job with it. He likes to do a really good quality job with his work, and so he spent a lot of time editing it. He's not like me, like I just like to write, and then I don't really want to edit it. And he's not like that. He's a meticulous self-editor, and then he has a editor that reviews all of his stuff. So I think that's a good synopsis. He hasn't given me the elevator pitch, so if I did it poorly, my apologies.
And for
Did
people who
you?
are trying to look up this book, what's it called?
It is called Casualties of War. It is a Bradley Adams thriller. And the first book is Drums of War. This is number 3. And we talk about him occasionally. If anyone actually watches this on a regular basis, I talk about Tim. That's my husband. Yeah, one of the things that I find very interesting and difficult if someone is painting, and I think I will remember this in the future as I get better at painting. If you're going to sit down and paint a face, try to do that face all at one time so that you can consistently match the tone of the skin color, because you might mix it once and it looks great, and then you never mix it exactly that way again, no matter how hard you try. Just can't do it. Am I wrong? Like,
No, I have a few stuff, especially with skin colors, that I do bulk. So
I definitely think that's a learning lesson for me. Were you on when I showed Chucky? Bill?
yeah, it sort of reminded me of the advertisements for the toy that Chucky possessed in the first place, where it's all wonderfully vanilla before the it starts killing people.
Yeah. Well, I was trying. Do you remember? Well, and you'll see them occasionally where like people used to. It was way more popular to like have a portrait of your child done. So especially like in the 50s and 60s, a lot of people were getting child portraits done.
Yes.
Yes, so that was kind of what I was trying to capture a little bit too. Was that idea of like this angelic child portrait. Because I don't know if you guys did you guys watch the series by chance that came out last fall?
No, I didn't watch the series.
Yeah, so they went into a lot more of his childhood, and there was kind of like a plot twist at the end to kind of tell you that, he was basically it's not a spoiler alert, because if you've watched in the movies, you know this, like he was basically born a psychopath. And so there's a couple flashback episodes where he's um, talking about his, childhood, and it shows like his experience of what happened to him, and then how he evolved into the killer that he is. So. Did anyone else come on besides us tonight?
No, it's just us. No one signed up on Evernote. And I think one of the reasons is a lot of people are still, either recovering from the holiday weekend or they're still enjoying their holiday weekend.
Can't blame them. I ended up painting all weekend long. I actually took Friday off from work so that I could just paint every day. So I painted yesterday, I painted Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I completed Chucky. I'm still working on Freddy. Doing a textured painting takes a lot of effort just because it seems like you're just constantly going over the same layers just so you get that dramatic effect you want. And then I did the Gremlin girl bride. I just needed to recycle an old little canvas, but my sister says she looks like more like this character on Netflix called the Hormone Monster or something. But
Oh,
right.
yes, the hormone.
Yeah, what's the name of that show? Ugly Face or something like
No,
that?
it's called Big Mouth, and it's absolutely hilarious. She does
Yeah.
look vaguely like Hormone Monster. Minus the big bouffant hair.
Yeah, well, she's got her, she in the movie she gets dressed up to get married, and so this is her wedding veil. But I told my sister, I said, well, this is a recycled canvas and I'm just experimenting. And so I don't feel like it's a loss. And then if I took it to a show and someone said, oh my God, it's the Hormone Monster, I'll be like, yeah, sure, it's the Hormone Monster.
It looks about as much as the Hormone Monster as it does the Sleeve Stack and Drag. So I think you're fine.
We watched the 007 movie this weekend, the new one.
You did. How did you like it?
It was pretty good. It was
I haven't seen the
definitely
last 5, so no spoiler. I haven't seen any of the Daniel Craig 007 films, except
Well,
for the
Tim.
very first one with Halle Berry. Or was that Halle Berry?
That was the second one, wasn't it?
Oh, I thought
I don't think it was Halle Berry. It was a black actress, but what's the same? Oh, wait, wasn't it the one from 10 Years a Slave?
I think I know who you're talking about.
And isn't that movie called 12 Years a Slave?
Quite likely.
I'm not 100% sure because honestly, I haven't totally watched all the movies. I watched Casino Royale. Was that the one that you're talking about?
Casino Royale was the first one.
Okay, yeah, I'm not
I think I might have. Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah,
Oh.
I just. Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, I'm just saying that on my Instagram, I just posted the clam, the gooey duck thing.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm going. I thought I posted it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it just popped up. Now, someone taught me that as gauche as it sounds, you should like your Instagram post, even though you're the one that posted it, you should be the first person to like it.
Oh,
really?
Because they said that did something in the analytics to kickstart it off because you're clicking on it right away.
Oh, I always thought that was incredibly narcissistic, so never did it.
Well, I always thought it was narcissistic as well, but he said, no, go ahead and click it. I went, okay.
And does it sound like they're right on?
I can't say I've noticed a huge difference, but then again, I haven't been posting. I mean, for a while there, I was posting at least once a week, if not 3 times a week on Instagram. And then during the pandemic, that really fell off. So
Yeah, I don't consistently post on Instagram either, which I know hurts me. My big one is I had this goal to post a new tarot card once a week, and that just didn't work out. But I have been doing work, and I've been posting on my evil girlfriend as well. But yeah, I can't remember. I knew that was the case with Facebook, but I hadn't realized. But they're both owned by the same company, so that kind of makes sense that their analytics would be the same, I guess.
my wife went to the eyeglass place and came home. And you know how when you're coming in and out of the house and you hear a noise, well, we really want to let the other person know that we're home. And you can always yell, I'm home, or you make a noise or whatever. But we've taken to doing the Japanese greetings, which is if you leave the house, you say, Ittikimasu. And the other person acknowledges that you're leaving, and they say Itterashai. And then when you come home, you say Tadaima. And the other person goes Okiri, which is the short version of everything. And we just like doing that. So when I heard yell Tadaima, I had to go with Kiri because I don't know if that got recorded or if that was before a recording. And now I'm looking at way too many pictures of gooey ducks online. So I'm going to have to start closing windows. It's just a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Bill.
Yes.
Why don't you do a pitch for the Cartoonist Northwest Drink and Draw?
Okay, yes. So the Cartoonist Northwest has its monthly drink and draw at 6:30 this Thursday, and the Eventbrite link is.
That's February the 24th.
That is correct.
And so how should they find this on Eventbrite? And they won't be able to see it in the chat link because I don't think that's part of this feature.
Right. Well, it's under my name, but I'm sure just searching Cartoonist Northwest Drink and Draw will do the trick. But it is also on Cartoonist Northwest's Facebook page.
I am typing in Cartoonist Northwest And I see two different Cartoonist Northwest Facebook pages. There's Cartoonist Northwest Organization and there's Cartoonist Northwest Group. Which one is it posted at?
It's on both of them, but the group is more social.
Okay.
And it's generally a nice bunch. Generally, it goes back and forth between 10 people and 3 loyal regulars. So at the very least, we have Donna Barr to entertain us.
I see the featured posting is from the October meeting.
Uh-huh.
And let's see. See the best of the Northwest posted here. I see the last meeting, which was from February.
That's yes.
Okay. I'm not seeing the link for the drink and draw.
Really? Then try it on the page then, because I did share it on. Oh no, I didn't share it yet. So yeah.
I just gave Bill more work to do. Sorry about that, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Bill knows I'm not sorry.
Just that since it's a more laid back thing, I don't plug it quite as hard as I do the regular meeting.
So, and that's still online. You guys do you still do it in person or?
No, it's still online, and even if things get safer, I'm going to keep as much online stuff as possible because talk about catch-22s. On one level, yes, face-to-face, in-person cozy meetings are great, but at the same time, I regularly get those old-fashioned meetings were just getting me about 6 to 8 people, and I was lucky to have a guest from King County.
Gotcha.
And now on the online one, I average 20 people, and I can get guests from anywhere. The most extreme example of that was one speaker was from Malta.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So obviously, while I appreciate that service, I like to keep things a little bit closer to home, because I'm sure apparently he was running on fumes by the end of it. But again, it's pretty impressive.
Now, is drink and draw different than claw, or is that part of the same thing? Or am I confused?
This is a different group.
Okay.
Cartoonist Northwest is a group up inside Seattle.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
In theory, we represent the entire Northwest community, but in practice, Puget Sound.
Okay.
So I'm trying very hard to, especially thanks to Zoom, one of my things on my wish list is to have other active chapters.
I swear, I think noses are one of the hardest things to do.
Okay, here's a couple tips about noses.
Okay.
Just do a brief, the darkest part of the nose is going to be underneath the nose.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
So start off by making that the darkest point first, and then you can lighten it up as you go. And if one of the ways to contour, rather than adding black to one side to gray it to give it a shadow. Go with a cool color, like just add just a tiny bit of blue into whatever color you have and do a stroke. And that should be enough to
okay.
give a cast because blue is opposite of warm, so they'll do that. And then just do a little white highlight on the other side. And that way it's not like you're drawing this W.
Oh, okay. Let me get a little blue out and see what I can do. Yep. See, I just put that brown underneath it and it just gave it a completely new dimension.
Okay, regrettably, I got to bail now, but you all have a great evening.
Bye, Bill. Have a nice day.
Bye, Bill. I didn't get to see your card. We'll have to see it next week. I just realized one side of his face is narrow and the other side is round. Oh, goodness gracious. It's okay, though. I'm glad I decided to do this one kind of like a caricature because, you know, you can get away more with the ridiculous looking features versus one where it's more realistic. There we go. Balance that out a little bit. He has just amazing bob, but he's, you know, it's shaggy, so he's allowed to have shaggy hair, right? Next week, you're going to have to show me how to draw with my iPad again and share it with everyone because I completely forgot that. We'll have to do it again as a refresher.
We'll have lots of fun. So remember that, folks. Next week, iPad tips on Procreate.
Yep, I will have it out. And we'll see. We'll work on we can talk about branding because I think sometimes it's easier to help someone else see what they're doing than it is for you to see what you're intentionally doing with your brand. Or that's just me. Maybe it's really easy for other people, and not me. I don't know. Like, I think you have a really strong brand and style. If I saw your work out in the wild, I think I may be able to identify it.
I'm pretty confident I could identify yours in the wild at this point.
Really? You think so?
I think so. I really do.
That's one thing I think I've learned from this group is don't crap on your unique perspective. I think it is very easy to look at other people's work and be like, oh, all these people are praising this person's work, or I like how they're doing it. But one of the cool things I've noticed is everyone has such a unique style and perspective, and it would be really sad if we all drew everything the same way. Like art wouldn't be interesting. So I think if anything, just being around different, and we've had different people come in here and look at their stuff, and it would be really easy as a new artist to not think what you're doing is interesting or worthwhile. Especially if you actually do try to sell your work and you never sell. But that's not the point. Like this whole weekend when I was laughing at Chucky, every time I would get up and then I would come back and sit down and work on him, and I would just laugh. Like I was just having so much fun just making him, what I'm saying. Right? And then I was like, well, and that's one of the hard things with social media is, you know, you can easily get caught up in, well, no one liked this, or, you know, why did this person give that a thumbs up then and not a love, you know? And it's like, man, that person's not think they're probably almost mindlessly just going through, and
Oh my
we're
God, you
so
are.
what?
Don't question it. It's just social media.
Well, you know, my master's is in health communications, right? Like, so that's what,
Oh, you're saying that
which
you
is,
just tend to dwell on
well,
any type of.
you analyze it. Like I've taken courses on social media and in marketing, and then your job, you analyze data where it's like, oh, this particular post by this health organization got X amount of likes, and excuse me, and what did they do to get that? And then why did this organization who posted this had no reshares? And, you know, I actually don't work in health communications, probably because when I was studying that stuff drove me crazy. But and when you own your own business, like when I worked on Evil Girlfriend as a publishing company, you know, you think about that stuff because you're paying for ads. But now I'm trying to not do that as much, because unless you are consciously paying for your posts and your ads, you, you should, you're probably just not getting in front of people. And there's no rhyme or reason why one thing, you know, gets seen by people or they like it or whatever. He's looking a lot more like Matthew Lillard today. I'm liking it. He's actually looking a little bit like Matthew Lillard.
There you go.
It only took me an hour of just doing fine details to get there. Huh.
Typically, I do a post and then I forget about it, but now you got me all concerned about how's my post doing? And I only posted it like 10 minutes ago. So I'm sure it's
Now
doing.
you're looking and analyzing. Sorry.
Okay, like I have 6 likes. Okay. Typically, I'll get between 40 and 50 likes on an average post. If it goes up from there, then I know I have something nice. Let's see, 60, 70, 40, 45, 73, 79. Okay.
And how
The
many
one,
ratio? Oh, go ahead.
my ratio is pretty nice. It's practically a 50-50 split. I got 53% male and 47% women. Most are in the Northwest area.
Nice.
My next largest area after that is the Netherlands, and then New York. I have a couple relatives in the Netherlands. I don't know if they share or what they did, but I've suddenly, you develop a niche following in a certain country. So like, I'm not going to guess why my stuff is popular in the Netherlands. I'm just happy that it is, you know?
Right. I just realized one of his pupils is way bigger than the other. I'm really bad about that.
Now,
Oh,
how
go
wet
ahead.
how wet was your paint when you did the pupils? So I can give you a tip on that.
I think it was pretty wet because one of the pupils is like really exact, and then the other one's kind of a mess, which is the one that I'm.
Now, what I would suggest is I always leave the pupils off until I get to the black stage of things. And
Okay.
when let the paint dry, and then what I'll do is like you have a group setting there with multiple people. So I would imagine that their pupils are going to be relatively the same size because the light level hitting their eyes is going to be at the same size.
That
So
is a
what you
very
do,
good point.
so take something like a piece of paper and either use a punch card or maybe you need to cut out a slightly bigger hole. I had a friend that used to make his holes with cigarettes, and but you cut a perfectly round hole and you use that as a frisket. You get your brush, you get it so that the bristles are dry, and then you put the paint on a little bit. You have kind of like a dry paint, a dry black, where you're not mixing it a lot with water, and you just brush it on you're using the paper like a frisket, and you brush it on like this with quick strokes going from the edge towards the middle, but not hitting the paper on the other side, and you just fill in the black that way. You lift it and you put it down, and you'll get perfectly sized pupils on everybody.
Oh man. Okay. See, I wouldn't even have thought about the fact that they all need to have about the same size pupil because the light should be hitting all of them and about the same level. Like, see, that's super. See, I wouldn't even have thought of that. That's that's
You
where I'm
may
like
you may
amateur hour.
you may want to do the same thing with the irises, but
Okay.
you're not going to be using a round. Start off with the same round circle, or with the round circle that you're going to be using for all the irises, but then also use a little bit of paper or tape a piece of paper in to create the eyelid shapes. You put the circle down, then you just cut some paper and line it up to match your eyelids, tape those in place, and that way you can get perfect pupils on all of them. I mean, perfect irises.
Okay, this sounds so he's my first starting point, so I'll have to go from here. Yeah, I just realized his eyes were a little off shape. I'm like, okay, like Matthew Lillard's actually going to be at this convention, so I would be absolutely mortified if he saw himself and was just like, you can't even draw my eyes symmetrically. That's always my biggest fear, is when you draw or paint someone and they actually see it.
Okay,
No,
I
no,
think
like,
what would be hilarious is if you could get a picture of him online, download one of his online pictures and then Photoshop the face that you've drawn, keep his hair, but take the face and Photoshop his face onto his photograph. And
oh
say,
my gosh.
and then say, this is the reference I was going by, and see if he noticed it.
That would be funny. He's so popular at this convention. He plays a lot of really high energy characters, and when he is at conventions, he probably is, he may just be a total introvert at home. Who knows? A lot of people are completely different with their professional, self. But he is so high energy, and he's such a fan favorite at this convention. He's been there 3 times in the last 7 years since I've been there. And they announced him again this year, and people were still cheering that he was coming. They weren't like, oh my gosh, he's coming back. No, they all love him, and he will take pictures with people's kids. That's why I feel like I have to do a really good job on him. But he will be there. Skeet Ulrich will be there, and so will Nev Campbell. But he's the one that the fans love the most. So he's got to look good, or these fans are coming for me. They will come for me, and they will let me know that this is not a good portrait of him.
Now, don't be at all upset if people don't buy your prints, because I have a whole bunch of Return of the Living Dead prints. And last time, they had the guy who was Tarman from the Return of the Living Dead there, and I had the whole Tarman poster was my print, and I didn't sell that many prints, like maybe 4.
Wow.
Other times, like I took, I had a I did a reanimator poster for a movie, and then it came to town. I took that print, and I did better with that, but I still didn't sell out. I sold like maybe 10. You know,
Oh, I wasn't even going to print 10. So
well,
that's a
don't
good.
don't print 10. Just print like hey, what you can do is print 5, and if they sell out that first day, you just hit Kinko's on the way home and you put in an overnight order. You pick them up the next day.
I think that is actually a pretty good plan for us. Like we're gonna I have to test print though, regardless, because I'm still, I'm very weak at the graphic design element of this. And that's the other portion that people don't consider when you're doing art is if you plan to make prints, you have to figure out how you're going to do that and make the prints look like something that people are going to want, because there is a difference between the way something looks when you're, painting it and what it looks like whenever you're
Oh yeah, and just the type of paper you use, the type of printer you use, whether or not you're using any type of varnishes. Like I use this one place in Florida to do my printing for my prints. When first I do an initial run here just with the local Minuteman press, but when I want some really nice prints for the same price, I'll send them there. I'll pay shipping, but they've got this wonderful UV coating. It's Ready Comics, I
Ooh,
think.
okay.
And that UV coating just brings the color out so much more. And I like their paper. I like the. Now I've also used Cake Print or Print Cake. Their prints look nice too, but here's the big difference, and that's on the shipping. Not the cost of the shipping, but the protective. When I got my stuff from Ready Comic, it was double layered in cardboard. It had solid padding around the edges with folded cardboard designed to hold the prints in place. It had a protective cardboard top and a protective cardboard bottom. And they came and they arrived perfect. When I got my order from Print Keg,
Oh boy.
it was gouged. They had just rolled paper on the edges, and I had a dent going down the sides of all the prints that I ordered. And you want to give your people a perfect print. They're spending,
Right.
$10 to $20 on this print. So here I had some damaged merchandise from the get-go, and I just felt bad about it. So they might have a really good quality product, but unless they can get it to pristine condition, so that's what sold me from going from Print Keg to Ready Comic, was the quality of the fulfillment. And guess what, folks? It is 5:30. Yet another hour has been spent in fun time and chat and drawing here at Epic Sketch Time. Katie, you look like you're doing great guns. I say, I'm looking forward to see how far it will be along next week.
Oh yeah. Hopefully we'll have all 4 faces filled in. Woohoo!
And I just got a notice that someone signed up for Eventbrite for next week, so maybe they'll join us then.
Yay!
Yay.
All right.
I'll
Bye.
see you then. Bye-bye.